Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bullpen. In the bullpen today, we have Mr. Jared Taylor, editor of American Renaissance and well-known racist. Sir, good day, welcome to the show.
I wish you would not call me a racist, but
okay. Can I read one of your comments?
Read as many as you like.
All right, so one of your comments, you said, Africa is in our midst. Lessons from Katrina, the barbaric behavior of the city's black population after the hurricane revealed a key truth. Blacks and whites are different. When blacks are left entirely to their own devices, Western civilization, any kind of civilization, disappears. You don't think that's a racist statement?
That is an observation of what happened in Katrina, and I think it applies equally to those circumstances in which blacks, in fact, are left entirely to their own devices. In sub-Saharan Africa, before either Arabs or whites showed up, there was no written language, there were no calendars, no mechanical devices, no two-story buildings. And so I think without a written language and a calendar, it's hard to have a civilization.
You know, it's really interesting. Who built the pyramids, sir? Did white people? No, I'm asking. Did white people build the pyramids?
I'm talking about sub-Saharan Africa. If you are not aware of where the pyramids are, they are north of the Sahara.
But I'm asking, do you believe white people built the pyramids? My question is quite simple.
Egyptians built the pyramids.
All right, were they white?
They were actually people like, more like the people who are Copts. Copts are considered a Caucasian civilization. But
they are, so Caucasians built the pyramids.
I do not consider them whites myself. They're kind of a Middle Eastern, North African group.
Let me highlight something that I think is worth mentioning. You believe that IQ, which is intellectual quotient, judged by various parameters, you believe that IQ is a genetic dynamic and not atmospheric. Is that basically what you believe?
Atmospheric? No, I don't think it changes with the weather. I think that individual IQ is largely heritable.
Okay,
and you would
so let me go ahead and clarify something. Atmospheric, I'm a social scientist. Atmospheric means societal construct, that's what it means. So there are two schools of thought as it relates to IQ tests. One is a fluid model and the other one is more stoic. So when I say atmospheric, the question, which obviously you did not know, the question is, do you believe that societal construct has a bearing on the expression of IQ? So that's my question.
Of course. It does. Society has an effect on practically everything.
So society impacts your IQ.
It can impact your IQ if you are severely deprived as a child, malnourished, etc. But for the most part, hold on.
What scientist came up with severely?
I beg your pardon?
What study are you citing that says it only applies in severe situations?
Well, if you take people from middle class environments, people who are not deprived, if you're not deprived, let me finish. If you take, for example, identical twins who are separated at birth and given up for adoption and reared in totally different households, you will find that their adolescent and adult IQs are almost identical. It's almost like two persons taking the test back to back. So there is an effect of environment, and the environment can have an effect, especially on younger children. But by the time people reach adolescence, they have more or less established their intellectual environment, and their IQ will be very close to what one would predict from a genetic point of view. But environment is not zero. No one who is seriously a student of any of these things would say the environment has no effect.
You know, it's interesting because I teach my college students that people in the construct of societal norms, we are made up of 3 E's: experiences, exposures, and environments. And those 3 E's really shape who we are. Now remember, the IQ test itself, I actually question the legitimacy of any IQ exam. And IQ test, of course I do, right? Because IQ tests question the validity of other IQ tests. You right now have about 18 different operational IQ tests that are giving out by psychologists. These psychologists question the validity of the 17 other IQ tests that are established.
That's not true.
Even inside of the established industry, there are multiple ways to determine intellectual quotient. The issue is
yes, there are.
It does not determine factors that actually carry you through life, such as creativity and your emotional quotient. These tests.
And in your case, your 3 E's completely ignore genetics. So you think genetics have no impact whatsoever on someone's intelligence, personality, willingness to defer gratification, any of those things? You think it has no effect? Is that really your position, Dr. Ritchie?
Well, let me give you the full answer. What I believe is that we're all different. I don't believe a test created by the dominant culture in the early 1900s for themselves should be a test granted as if this is how people will eventually succeed. And let me give you one actual study that you can look at and review when you get a moment. There was a study done by school teachers and a college that said we're going to randomly choose students who are not gifted. And when we choose these students who are not gifted, we're going to tell them that they are. We're going to say that you were chosen because of your high IQ. Out of that, 82% of those students demonstrated higher achievement, and 22% of those students demonstrated an IQ increase of over 20 points, proving that environment can overcome whatever they thought was happening with them genetically. And all of these tests have proven over and over again that IQ has very little bearing. Whatever test you want to give, that's standardized. IQ has very little bearing on your ability to emotionally connect with others and survive and thrive in this world. Atmosphere has much more bearing on that.
If it were so easy, why isn't it done every day in every school in America? If it were that easy, and now, clearly it is not. Easy, now hold on. Let me reply to your points. Do you really think IQs given today are the same ones that were given in the early 20th century? No, wrong. Furthermore, you said they were developed by the dominant culture. You said they were developed by the dominant culture. If whites were developing a test to hold everyone else down, why is it that East Asians outscore whites on IQ tests consistently?
You know, it's really interesting you bring that up. So the
GMC AT4 lineup, premium and capable. Or get 3.9% APR.
Top 5 countries, I'm going to respond to a certain way I choose to. The top 5 countries, as far as IQ examinations are concerned, are actually Asian nations.
That's
and
correct.
It's ironic that typically white supremacists like yourself, you don't bring that up. But the test itself.
Well, hold on, wait
a minute. I'm finishing. Yeah, I know, sir. You're probably shocked at this information I'm about to drop to you. Those tests are actually correlated to affix to the culture of the Asian experience. They're not given the same test based on the norming of the scale of the test. Did you realize that or not?
They are given exactly the same Ravens progressive matrices.
That is not,
furthermore,
sir, that is not true.
Asian Americans, Asians in the United States are given exactly the same tests as white people.
Sir,
and they score higher than whites.
Okay, let me respond to that. I'm talking about the top 5 countries based on IQ exams or IQ tests given inside of those countries by their psychologists. They are given to that community by that culture. My overall point to you, my overall message to you, and I gotta be quick because they're giving me the wrap up sign. The overall point is, you believe that IQ is the determining factor in the person's ability to succeed. However, IQ,
of course not.
So it's not.
Of course not. There are many things.
Why do you care? Why do you care so much about IQ then? Why do you have these quotes about black people not being smart?
I care about many things: determination, agreeableness, the ability to defer gratification. All of these things matter. But to insist that the only reason why blacks and Hispanics do not do as well as whites in the United States is because of racism, to exclude any differences in abilities. Now, hold on, let me finish. And to exclude any differences is completely and utterly unfair.
Hold on. First of all, you're on my show, sir.
Okay,
I did not make that comment, nor did I say that statement. The reality is there are a multiplicity of factors. Racism is a part of it. Would you not agree?
Racism now in the United States plays a very small role in racial differences in achievement.
Okay, let's do this. I'm giving a wrap up sign, but I challenge you to a full 30-minute debate about this live. You ready for it? You ready for it?
We'll do it anytime you like, sir.
Right. What's your IQ, sir?
My IQ, I do not know. What's yours?
Higher than yours. Have a good day.
How do you know?
All right.
How do you know?